Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. This is Tiffany with Healthy Passions, and I wanted to get my Wednesday YouTube video out for today. Please do forgive me if I sound a little tired. I'm training myself to get up at 5 a.m. for a new client, and I have been able to do so, but I'm adjusting to the schedule and not wanting to want fighting not wanting a nap at this time. So just bear with me. I did get up early and I did a whole bunch of errands and went to the store, did a couple of things, and then came back and started my work. So I may sound a little tired. I apologize. All right. So today's video is a little off topic from what I normally talk about, but not really because I always bring the spiritual aspect of a thing on all my social medias, especially YouTube. So today I am going to be brief, but I'm going to talk about some sore points that I see people suffering from or talking about online more than anything. But now I'm starting to see it on the national news and things like that. So I thought it was significant enough to bring up. So we're going to talk about the spiritual aspect of the 4B movement and the Me Too movement. The 4B is associated with the women, and the Me Too movement is associated with the men. They've been doing that one for a while. Me Too is, the 4B movement is more recent, but it's still going on. Okay, so let's bring the spiritual aspect of it. I love how both groups thinks that it is their idea to do it, and it really isn't. The Most High, if He wants a thing, He's gonna do it. So let's talk about it. I'm getting ahead of myself, so let's get started. So the first key point on this, the reason why I'm bringing this up is because of the low birth rates worldwide. Okay, we have low birth rates worldwide. Some places the lowest it's ever been. Um, in a lot of places around the world, it's getting to the point where the births are not surpassing the death. So there's more death than births in that area, which is not a good situation for any country or place to be in. All right. So we are not replacing the people that are dying at a fast enough rate. The lowest, from what I remember, was like South Korea, China, Singapore, United States is in there as well. France, Italy, Spain. Greece. It's pretty much worldwide, but we're going to talk about why. All right. So all the locations that have the connection, um, all locations have connections with harming the 12 tribes of Israel. So they either indirectly or directly have a hand in harming Yah's people, whether it be the 12 tribes of Israel or the believers in their country that are their countrymen. Some places will kill people for being Christian or professing the Christian faith or being believers. Other places are really strict on that. You're not allowed to have Bibles, things like that. So, any place or location where they have caused harm to the Most High's children, that's where you're seeing the lowest birth rates, right? So, like I said, it's either a direct or indirect involvement with slavery. That's directly according to the 12 tribes here. So if they had a hand directly or indirectly with slavery, what I mean by directly, they were actually selling slaves, doing the physical part of enslaving people and selling them and then causing them to do free labor. That's the direct. The indirect is benefiting, like either getting the goods from that or getting a payoff from that, or payoff to be quiet about it and look the other way. So that's the indirect way. They have something to do with that. A lot of these places, the people that you see there in modern day are not the original people. The people that were there that are indigenous to those lands were most likely killed, murdered, raped, and almost eradicated in some places. So some at some point the people who did that harm would have to pay the price for that, because everything on this planet involves what people call karma, but it's not karma. I don't use the term karma because that's a false god. But basically, it will be returned unto them. So you do unto others as you want to be treated, right? That's the reason why we have that spiritual rule, the universal rule, because if we don't want harm or the same thing to happen to us, we don't do it to other people. And that is the universal law that cannot be changed. And so, after doing it for a long period of time, at some point, that would have to be cut off and returned to those people. And this is where we are. I noticed that the next point is social media is not sharing that they are reporting all of these low birth rates. They're freaking out. They're trying to get laws passed and governing women's bodies, taking away our rights and things like that because of the low birth rates. But what they're not sharing that there is a boom in births within the 12 tribes in the whole continent of Africa. So the 12 tribes, all of them, wherever they're located, because we're scattered all around the world, we are having children, and now even more children. The continent of Africa is having children. There has not been a, a decrease in there. We are actually increasing in all areas. Okay, um, when it comes to birthing. So, what really is going on? What, from a spiritual standpoint, what would I consider part of the problem? Okay, what's really happening? First of all, we have economic collapse. People cannot afford children anymore in most cases. It takes two people to run a household, and because the pay is not keeping up with inflation, even if you have a two-parent home, people don't make enough to now bring said children. One or two children would totally bankrupt them. So we have an economic collapse to where people can't afford it anymore. So that to me is one of the main problems. Also, the weaponization of marriage on both ends. Okay, so when we have the 4B movement that's associated with women, so they're weaponizing marriage, saying that hey, we won't have sex with y'all, we won't date y'all, we won't entertain y'all, we won't have children for y'all at all for any man. Doesn't matter. We're not doing it. That's what the forbidden movement is. Um, so in a way, that's weaponizing marriage to men. And they're saying this: if you don't change the system, then this is what it's going to be. And guess we're all going to just die off. So that's a weaponization of marriage and the natural interaction between men and women. Now, the Me Too movement has been going on years and years before this, where it's men going their own way. um, they just decided to be single. They don't want children. They don't want to be with women and all that as well. But that started years and years before. And I believe the 4B movement is a response to that as well. But um, men have weaponized marriage a long way. They have dangled marriage like a carrot in front of women for so long, saying, hey, you're nobody unless you're someone's wife. You won't be recognized in this patriarchal system. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that option away from you and treat you like crap. Now you're nothing. You have no power. And that's how they've been weaponizing marriage against women. And women are tired of it. And and they should be, because women have not been treated fairly in this patriarchal system at all. Um, they're tired of it, and so their response is the 4B movement. And now we have both sides going their own way, not coming together, not having children, not getting married, not dealing with each other at all. The tensions between uh, a lot of the genders, between men and women, is horrible. Um, I'm pretty sure it's not like that in every situation. Like I said, this is the world concept of it. Um, Yah's people, God's people, we're not having these kind of problems, but the majority of the world is seeing this and dealing with this. All right. The next point is every nation that was confederate against Yah's people sees this decrease in birth rates. It kind of goes with being involved with slavery indirectly. So if you're confederate, that means that you're confederate with not making them a people, help making them forget who they are, not allowing them to practice their religious practices. keeping their wealth and resources from them after they stole them, taking from them and benefiting from their demise, even centuries, even generations after slavery, up until this day, those nations are seeing the decrease in birth rates. Um, I, like I said in the beginning, I think it's funny how these people think that they are doing that with a movement worldwide like this between men and women. I don't think it's just men and women deciding to do that. The Most High can cause that separation between us. Feelings are running high, and people are just fed up. And I believe the Most High has caused that separation, even though they think it's their idea. Okay. Um, the reason why I say that is because the Most High decides who will be born and when they'll be born. The Most High opens up your womb. That's why when people try to get pregnant, it doesn't happen until the divine timing. They could try for years as much as they want, but that baby will not be conceived until the Most High says, okay, now it's time. So the Most High is shutting down their wombs. He's shutting up their wombs. He won't open them. Now, why is this happening? The other nations have lost their blessing. The Hebrew Israelites have been talking, I would say, for at least the last 10 years about this. And as we stated, April 8th solar eclipse ends their blessing. They had the blessing of the sword, which comes with riches, resources, control, power, and of course, in that blessing is childbirth. They've lost their blessing. So now they can't, even if they try, they can't physically make babies. Okay? Their blessing is done, as especially as of April 8th. Um, The next thing is judgment. It is time for their judgment. If you have been in the Muhan churches or the modern day churches, um, you are way off in prophecy because you're missing information, and then they have purposely lied to you about prophecy. They told you that all the prophecy that you're waiting for was in your future when it had already happened far in your past. So they think that we are about to experience like a rapture where everyone disappears and then the tribulations and this and then Jacob's. That's not where we are. Jacob's trouble has ended. It ended in 2019. Um, it's been ended for a while now, a couple of years now. Um, Now it's time for the Gentiles' trouble, and they are now under judgment. So all of the Deuteronomy curses that were applied to Yah's children are now applied to the other nations. So they are under judgment. It has switched from Israel to the Gentile nations, and that were all in power. So they had their time to rule. They did for a very long time. They ran this place into the ground. Earth is trashed. They did a horrible, piss poor job, and they killed a lot of people. And they just, their power is done now. So their blessing is done now. And I would like to also add that your leaders, or like your politicians, your leaders, and your presidents, and even your pastors, are lying to the public about their true condition. They are trying to give the facade since 2019, since the pandemic actually. They're trying to give the facade that they are still in control, that they still have power, that they still have money, that they still have the resources to go to war. They do not. This system has been destroyed. There is not anything that they can do. That's why you're asking like, well, why didn't they send money to this place? They don't have it. Okay, they don't have it. So that system, you keep hearing the systems ending, or the world ending, or the system ending, or it's being destroyed. That's what we call the beast system in the Bible. It is the beast system that has been destroyed, and God is setting his standards back to where they should be. So the standard of the world is coming back to the Most High's law, his universal laws. All right. So this beast system, we have the three-headed system. We have England, we have America, and I believe, give me a second, Holy Spirit, is it Spain? I believe it's Spain. So it's I believe it's Spain, but we have the three-headed uh beast system that's ended. So now, where they think that we're going into Jacob's trouble, where the blacks and um the Negro race and all of the other Israelites, the other uh, uh, 12 tribes, the whole entire 12 tribes, they think that we're going to go through Jacob's trouble again. I mean, how much more could you do to us? We've been through enough for long enough that it would make no sense for us to go through another 7 years of Jacob's trouble. It's your time now. It's the Gentiles' time. So the beast system is done. I believe it is. Oh, the Roman Catholic would be the spiritual head, where you had the Roman Catholic Church that created all of these denominations and dogma religions. You have England, which is the bank of the beast head, the money system. And then you have America, which would be the military sword, the weaponry, the military of the three-headed beast, right? So that is all over with. So no matter how hard they try, they can try. They will not be able to increase their birth rate. They are being decreased in many other ways as well. It's not just low birth rates. They are getting pretty much taken over. Millions and millions have died, and they have not reported it because they want to pad their numbers. The real reason why they're letting immigrants in is because in the past, when a country has low birth rates, you can bring immigrants in, call them white as a social status, even if they're not white, as a social status, and then pad your numbers to sell or to make the illusion that you're still in control, and then count their children with the number of your own children. And that is the real reason why they're letting our borders open. They're actually calling them people over here, even though they're acting surprised, like, oh my God, I can't believe all these immigrants are coming. No, they're coming because so many of you have died off since the pandemic. You have to pad your numbers. There is no way that they would allow it to willingly seep out that their numbers are low, because then they know that the people would overpower. All right. So this was a quick message. It's really nothing anyone can do about it. It is unfortunate for some communities, but like I said, the most highest people, the uh, 12 tribes, the Hebrew Israelites in Africa, are actually booming in birth, and that's for a reason. And I don't want to get into that. That'll be a whole nother video. But basically, let's just be clear: the 12 tribes blessing has now turned back to them. So everything is switching. Now they get the cup of the curses, and we get the cup of the blessings. It's all in the Bible. So, like I said, start studying your Bible and really getting to know prophecy for yourself, as well as the Apocrypha, because a lot of that information was taken out, especially on what's going on right now. A lot of that's going to be in what we call the Apocrypha. So I thank you very much. I'm really tired. So I'm going to end this here and get ready for my last session today and get some rest. I love you guys. Take care.